Hi, my name is Martin Tomczyk. You watching now DTM in Barcelona. Have fun.
Yes, and indeed it was Martin Tomczyk who had his big breakthrough here last year, winning his first race for Audi. Tomczyk very much in the mix for this championship as we move into the 9th and penultimate round of the 2007 DTM at Barcelona. Yes, we're in Spain, Barcelona. And there, Gaudi's famous, extraordinary Sagrada Familia Cathedral, yet to be finished, of course. Barcelona has a huge amount to offer its inhabitants. The Olympic Marina is just one of the many attractions. The most famous point of interest in the heart of Barcelona is Las Ramblas, the iconic tree-lined pedestrian mall, which runs through the heart of the old town. The street is always pulsating and vibrant as tourists and locals alike sample the huge range of culinary specialities. And this year the DTM makes its second visit to the Circuit de Catalunya, one of Europe's most modern racing circuits. And we can get a driver's eye view of the circuit with the man who won here last year, yes, Martin Tomczyk in the Audi.
We are going on one lap in Circuit de Catalunya. Here we see the long straight. We are really fast here, up 6th gear, revving really high. Then we have a sharp right-hander, 2nd gear corner. It's good to overtake there at the end of the straight. Then a fast left-hander up the hill. Here the rear gets really nervous. Then it follows a fast right-hander, aero corner. You have to set up the car really good with high aero there. Long back straight up to 5th gear, full revving up. Then hard braking into the slowest left-hand corner on that circuit, 1st gear, shifting up into the small motordrome there. Here we have mid-fast aero corners, a right-hander, long one, really hard for the left tires. Shifting up a gear, and then the new part of the circuit, really slow here, really slippery down the hill. Then we have the chicane, 2nd gear, really Mickey Mouse chicane, and then accelerating up last corner into the long straight. And that was one lap with me, Martin Tomczyk, and keep your fingers crossed. Thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty hard work around Barcelona, as you saw, and everyone looking for sub 1 minute 14 laps. But, well, in the rain, you were happy if you went under 120. And Tom Christensen out here, really struggling with the weather conditions. Christensen also with a drive shaft problem, and he qualified only 11th. Matthias Ekstrom, of course, battling for the championship. He too didn't have too much grip and qualified in 10th place. But the one Audi competitor who was really going strongly was Martin Tomczyk. There he is, 1:18.689 on a drying track. And the man who came closest to him was Bruno Spengler, the French-Canadian. The last 3 years really has become a major name in the DTM. Spengler pushed hard, but just beaten by Tomczyk. And another quick Mercedes was the double Formula One world champion, Mika Hakkinen. Hakkinen here in the black car, heading towards the finish line to take a lap of 1:18.950, goes to the front row of the grid. So an Audi and indeed a Mercedes on the front row. What about the most successful driver in the DTM, Bernd Schneider, 1:19.689 for Schneider. He would line up one place behind Bruno Spengler. But Tomczyk on the pole, the man currently 2nd in the championship going into this race. There he is, climbing out of the car, happy with his drive, of course. Martin Tomczyk, tall young man. Slow-mo here of the Mercedes of Spengler.
The track was very difficult today. There was no grip at all in the qualifying on the rain. So I really did my best, and I think it's not too bad. Third, I'm quite satisfied, and everything is possible for tomorrow because we have a very good car on the long run.
And not surprisingly, Mika Hakkinen was very pleased with his second place on the grid.
The car was feeling good, it was feeling fast. It was just a matter of banging the time in the right time. Not to make too many mistakes. And like I said, to be out there right time. And we did good. So finishing second today was a good success.
The pole position to Martin Tomczyk, and he was sure that choosing the right tyre pressures had helped.
Especially in the last session, it was quite tight to drive. I mean, you have to choose the right tires, the right pressures. Fortunately, we could do it, and we could do the time right at the beginning of session 3, and that was the key for the pole position.
So here are the top 10 positions, and just look at that. 1 Audi and then 5 Mercedes-Benz, Jamie Green 5th and Gary Paffett lining up in 6th place. And then the next Audi. The DTM opened the race weekend in Barcelona with a crowd pulling spectacular as the cars took to the heart of the city to raise awareness of the events here in Catalonia. A DTM show day stage between one end of Las Ramblas and the statue of Columbus included pit stop demonstrations. Naturally, the DTM stars were there to greet the fans personally. Gary Paffett and Matthias Lauda were there, so too was Tom Christensen. There's Gary. For Matthias Lauda, the weekend in Barcelona was practically a homecoming. The Austrian-born driver has lived in Barcelona for a number of years. And there he takes a look at Gaudi's extraordinary cathedral. One day, maybe, they'll even finish it. More sightseeing for the drivers. There's Matthias Lauda. But the DTM star guest at the track was Pedro de la Rosa, Mercedes McLaren test driver, of course, and embroiled in the current Ferrari-McLaren scandal. I bet he was pleased to get his crash helmet on and try out a DTM car. So what did Pedro think of the DTM?
It's very friendly. You know, the people are very close to the cars, to the drivers, something we should all learn about in Formula One.
Everyone keeps saying that. There is Pedro de la Rosa then strapped into the car. As we move on to the race, the rain had gone and now we had 27 degrees centigrade and sunny skies. Some 42,000 fans, an excellent crowd for a non-German race. And amongst the spectators, Matthias Lauda's father, Nicky, was there.
So we don't know how you are feeling, but at the moment...
58 laps of the 2.977 kilometre version of the Circuit de Catalunya coming up. A total race distance of 172.66 kilometres. There, the drivers on the parade. An absolutely vital race. There is Niki Lauda, we mentioned, together with his son. And now let's check out the circuit. There it is. You can see where the intermediate points are. And great that the rain had gone away as we check out the grid here with Martin Tomczyk on the pole. Alongside him, Mika Hakkinen. On row 2, Mercedes, of course, Bruno Spengler and Bernd Schneider. On the 3rd row, Jamie Green still looking for his first ever victory alongside fellow Brit Gary Paffett. Then it's Timo Scheider and Alex Margaritis. Behind them, Mike Rockenfeller having a good qualifying and Matthias Ekstrom. Tom Christensen, who's struggled, and Paul de Resta in the old 04 car. Christian Abt and Daniel La Rosa. Marcus Winkelhock and Lucas Lur. Lauda and Susie Stollard. And there, right at the back, Vanina Ix and Alexandra Primat, who had problems. Engines revving and Good start from Martin Tomczyk. Go on board with Bruno Spengler, but Tomczyk it is who goes into the lead. I think problems for La Rosa and Christian Abt, who are dropping back, turning into the right-hander there because we are using the short version of the Catalunya circuit. And there you see La Rosa, who obviously had some sort of problem. Lots of dust still settling, but certainly Tomczyk making another spin at the back. And I think, is that Tom Christiansen? And a Mercedes coming from somewhere. That's Gary Paffett. So I think Christiansen and Paffett must have touched. And there is Christiansen limping along, the 7 times Le Mans winner, who's been having a good season in the DTM. The Audi in front, and then all those Mercedes, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them until you get to the next Audi. End of lap 1. Tomczyk from Hakkinen, Spengler, Schneider, Green in 5th place, then it's Extra, Margaritas going well, and Scheider, then Duresta 9th, Rockenfeller 10th, Lure, Lauda, and Primat, who's really come up through the field. Well, a storming start from Martin Tomczyk. Here is Bruno Spengler. Spengler running in 3rd place. Just saw Hakkinen's tail twitching there as the Finn certainly on the limit. And let's see what he can do about this leading Audi, the Red Bull car. Going off for a wild old ride is Susie Stoddard, the lass from Oban in the gravel. And I think she is stuck there. That will be the end of her race. Tomczyk, Hakkinen, Spengler bouncing over the curbs here at Barcelona. You can see those grandstands packed out for this race. All the cars, of course, with V8 engines, highly sophisticated tubular chassis, and then the bodyworks of either the Audi A4 or the C-Class Mercedes-Benz. Remember, for this season, Mercedes upgraded the body shape to the very latest design. I think Audi will be doing that for 2008. But now we can take another view of the start of this race. And watch the red car, that's Margaritas creeping, tries to go through, gets sandwiched there, but somehow comes out of it a bit like a ball coming out of a pinball machine. And trying to see what happened further back with Gary Paffett. There's the lock-up. Well, we couldn't quite see what the result of that was, but Paffett obviously tangling with Christiansen in some way. Paffett is in the blue car. If you concentrate on him, let's see what did emerge from this first corner incident. Well, going all the way around the corner. It's a bit difficult to see exactly what happened, but Christiansen and Gary Paffett having that tangle. Another shot here from on board. Looking back at Mika Hakkinen. And drive-through penalty for Gary Paffett. Paffett got a penalty for jumping the start, but I'm not sure he was the first one to actually drop the clutch. So, disaster for Gary Paffett. And now Mika Hakkinen really starting to turn the pressure on to Martin Tomczyk. Hakkinen pushing hard. Downhill section here. Still the Audi in the lead. Here is the incident. That's Gary Paffett and Tom Christiansen in the Siemens car spinning around and, well, the whole back end of the grid going past and taking to the grass and all avoiding Tom. But it looked to me as if Paffett just carried too much speed into the right-hander there. So not the happiest of races for Gary Paffett. Tomczyk and Hakkinen, now the gap is close to 0.3 of a second, very close indeed. Go on board with Mika Hakkinen again. Hakkinen has a little look down the inside of Tomczyk. Tomczyk driving a very good line. Remember, he's the man that won this race here a year ago, his breakthrough victory, and is now one of the leading contenders for the 2007 DTM. Needs a good result here. All Audi's resources being poured into him as we look from the back of his car and then look forward at him. Great onboard coverage here. Now this is the incident with Christian Abt going onto the gravel in the Playboy car. Abt, who has already announced his retirement from DTM at the end of this season, so just one more race for him to go. But at the front, this is tough stuff. And remember, we've got the two mandatory pit stops to come. Tomczyk just eking out 0.1 of a second over Hakkinen, but it is seesawing, and there still a car in the gravel. Now I'm sure Martin Tomczyk will be looking in his mirror when he straightened this car up, and he's going to see the three-pointed star of Mercedes-Benz and Mika Hakkinen's car. So the Audi has three Mercedes breathing right down his exhaust pipe. There you see some of the aerodynamic appendages on the back of the Audi, which gives it some extra downforce. The aerodynamic package is locked in for the year. Tomczyk, Hakkinen, Spengler, Schneider, then it's Green, and look at this! Hakkinen drives down the inside, it's an audacious move! Well, goodness me, not much contact, but he takes out Tomczyk. Tomczyk is going to be furious about that. Well, Hakkinen left his braking so late, we've got pit stops going on. Haug takes to the water bottle, and Hakkinen is going slowly off track at the moment. Well, that was a big moment. Maybe that's the very point where the DTM could be decided, because this is going to cost Martin Tomczyk dear. It's also costing Hakkinen. So suddenly we have a new leader. But Hakkinen, all that experience. Let's see what happens. Right in the slipstream of the Audi. Comes out very late. Dives down the inside, locks it up. Bumps into the Audi, which had absolutely nowhere to go. Tomczyk, of course, has to go the long way round. Here it is again. And, well, to me, Mika Hakkinen was completely in the wrong there. He had absolutely no chance of getting through without making contact. And, well, there we see some of the dust and dirt which flew up after it was all over. So, Bruno Spengler down the lead as we see it again. Well, yeah, I said right at the beginning, audacious move by Mika Hakkinen. It was more kamikaze than anything else. And that takes out the lead Audi. And now we have Mercedes-Benz first, second, third, and fourth. And I'm sure Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich is not going to be happy about that. He's seen the same replays that we've seen. And he's going to be fuming on the Audi management stand. But now it's Spengler in the lead from Schneider as Hakkinen finally brings it in. And I think that car has got front suspension damage. Yeah, it's crabbing, as you can see, and that is the end of Mika Hakkinen's race. And in the process, he has taken out Martin Tomczyk and stopped a possible second successive victory in Barcelona for the tall young German who had a chance of this championship. Well, in a way, he did a good job for Mercedes-Benz, although can't consider that to be fair. I don't think it was intentional, but I think it was desperation. And someone as experienced as Mika really shouldn't resort to desperation like that. But Spengler in the lead from Schneider. Jamie Green having a good run. Green in the white car, then it's Margaritis And here's an incident. Christian Abt rubs paint with Gary Paffett. Meanwhile, Martin Tomczyk is still in the race, has to be said. And Hakkinen is out, but obviously Tomczyk dropped well back down the order now. And they're shown currently in 10th position. Ekstrom, the first of the front runners to make a pit stop. That's the little number 1 you see on the side. There's Margaritas in the stern car going through. And Matthias Lauda, there he is in the black car. Spengler's lead 0.7 of a second. Green is then 2.1 seconds down on the leader. And then it's Margaritas and Schneider. Just hear them going down the gearbox. And they're Lauda being passed by Tomczyk, who's battling up through the field as best he can, going for 9th place. There's quite a lot of rubber on the side of the track, as you can see, and quite a lot of carbon fibre bodywork as well, odd shards of that around. And there is Lauda, seeing if he can get back into 9th position. Well, Tomczyk in the Red Bull car has quite a lot of empty track in front of him now. And here is a replay. Oh, see, Lauda really got it sideways in that incident with Tomczyk. And still bumping and boring going on. Young fans certainly wrapped up with the excitement of it all. But Mercedes looking good in first, second and third at the moment. And there is Bruno Spengler. Interesting paint scheme on that car. Silver, as if it's all aluminium plates all riveted together. Now the gap between Spengler and Ekstrom is 22.9 seconds. A very important factor of the DTM racing is tyre management, keeping these Dunlops in good shape through the stints. Remember, they run on 3 different sets of tyres through the race distance. As we go on board with Ekstrom. And Ekstrom currently shown in 13th place, having made his pit stop. And there, Gary Paffett just nipping through and passing Mike Rockenfeller, the former Porsche factory driver who switched to Audi this year, debutant in the DTM. And Rockenfeller keeping up the pressure as best he can in the 06 car. There is the Audi pit wall. And there's another view of the tremendously close race you have in the DTM. Whoa, goodness me, and the dust flies as Gary Paffett, former DTM champion, of course, dives through. Now takes out his earplugs. He wants to hear the shrill roar of the V8 engines here at Barcelona. And he'll be happy with what he's seeing with Mercedes-Benz in first, second, third and fourth places. Matthias Ekstrom, of course, continuing to lead this championship, but doesn't seem to be in line for too many points here. Ekstrom, another former DTM champion. And there is Ekstrom trying to get past Daniel La Rosa in the orange Mercedes-Benz. Coming past the pits, this pair. And there is the Audi trying to go down the inside. And sliding out and a lot of nudging going on. And then La Rosa goes down the inside and takes the Audi out. And that's the second front running in the championship Audi that has been taken out. You can see they're very unhappy about that in Audi management. and both cars stuck in the gravel. And yeah, I think they're saying that was deliberate. There is Haug. Well, can't really read the expression on his face. And the crowd even silenced by that incident. And let's see it again. There, Ekstrom goes for the inside. La Rosa appears to leave in room, then turns in on him, and then just takes to the grass and dive bombs the Audi.
I was after my first pit stop, wanted to overtake him. He left plenty of room into the corner, but then late mid-corner he turned in and we had a small touch, and my car got nervous, and then I was accelerating out to the next corner, and in the middle of the corner he came full power straight into my car, so the left rear broke. And for me, I think that's over the limit. If you are touching a little bit and we change colors of the cars and break a mirror or something, this is something we all accept. But today, my experience was that it was over the limit, and also for my teammates.
This is the view from Ekstrom's car, and these are the thoughts of Daniel La Rosa.
I was really surprised that he was driving like this with me, and I had no space to drive on the track. He just pulled me out of the way, and from his side he said it was the right line, it was the race line. I was surprised that I when I heard this, because it's not the race line everybody saw, and yeah, and then he pushed me out of the track, and I was on the grass, and I was passenger on the grass. I couldn't do anything anymore, and I was braking in the last moment. I saw him, and I tried to stop it, but it was already too late, and then we crashed together. But I think it wasn't my fault.
Two completely conflicting reports. Make up your own mind. I'd say this one was more 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. I mean, could La Rosa have turned and stayed on the grass? Well, you see the reaction there from Hans-Jürgen Abt. He is excited. Still Dr. Ulrich calm on the management stand. On board with Ekstrom after the collision. And just bringing the car in. Here's Bernd Schneider making his first pit stop. Spengler and Green now first and second. But Schneider in third place comes in, and he'll drop down the order as we cycle through the pit stops. Timo Scheider into the pits, and has got considerable experience in the A1 GP series. Lauda just turning into the right-hander, and there, missing his braking was Bernd Schneider. Well, that's quite unusual to see him making a mistake like that. And Schneider loses a lot of time as Ekstrom comes into the pits. He's applauding the Mercedes-Benz pits there. Sarcasm coming to the front. Not happy at all about it. We still haven't had pit stops yet from Jamie Green and Margaritas. And there is the Red Bull car. And Ekstrom climbs out, even a cool Scandinavian, pretty heated. Margaritas making his pit stop. Well, emotions are certainly running very high here at Barcelona after those two incidents between Audi and Mercedes-Benz. And the discussions will go on for a long time about whether they were racing incidents or was it all deliberate. I'll leave you to make up your own mind there. Now we see Bernd Schneider coming into the pits and retiring, possibly with braking problems. We saw that he overshot in that one area after the pits, so maybe that was as a result of a problem. Spengler comes in. Race leader making his pit stop. Will he go back still in the lead? Well, not immediately, because we still have a number of cars who have yet to make their first pit stop, including Paul de Resta. And de Resta now inherits the lead from Lucas Lure and Alexandra Primat, all who are long first runs. Spengler low in front of Green, the highest placed of those who have had the new tyres as Schneider's car is pushed away. There's Jamie Green, man from Leicester, came up through karting, Formula Renault, and then won the European Formula 3 Championship, Formula 3 Euro Series as it's correctly named. There's Tomczyk still working away, moving up the field, currently shown in fourth, but yet to make a pit stop. Tomczyk still with his thoughts very much on getting some points here to help him in his quest for the DTM Championship. Remember, just one race at Hockenheim to go after this, and a lot of action to come here in Barcelona before we start doing any real calculations. I was just wondering if Norbert Haug might get a visitation from Dr. Ulrich to rival team directors. There is Tomczyk coming through, passing Primat. Primat in the gold, black and silver car, backed by Audi Bank. And Primat has shown some flashes of real speed in the DTM this season. Another newcomer in the revised Audi squad for 2007, which of course also included Lucas Lure. And Lure is a man currently in the lead, but has yet to make his pit stop. Normally we don't have so many long first stints, but that's what we've got today in this race of aggression and of controversy, which I'm sure is going to rage on once the race is over. Meanwhile, the Mercedes drivers are on the march. Look, here is Bert Schneider, having retired, joining them up there in the management area. And Schneider off to report to his engineer what happened, and there, the facial expression says it all.
The car was, how I said before, was very good. I was really satisfied, very good balanced, and but I had a brake failure after my pit stop, and then the race was over.
Well, in the heart of the race here, we're hearing that there might be a penalty. Yes, a penalty for Bruno Spengler, who was going to assume the lead of this race. Apparently broke the speed limit while the yellow flags were out during the Ekstrom La Rosa incident. And that could cost Spengler the victory here. And it could cost him the championship, of course. It's all happening here at the Barcelona circuit. What a race we've got, and anyone could still win this. There's Spengler coming through on the speed limiter. There on the left, Spengler coming out the pits. Lucas Lure in the lead. Rockenfeller currently shown in second place. Jamie Green, you see, has already made his 2 pit stops. And when the drivers in front of him have made all their stops, then you'll suddenly see Green spring to the front. Lure on this very long first stint. But Jamie Green, who has yet to win a DTM race, could just do it here in Barcelona after all these incidents. Martin Tomczyk coming into the pits, and I don't think this is just his second stop. Tomczyk, I believe, has a problem because he's already made 2 stops. And let's see if he turns it right into the garage. Yes, he does, and we can find out what happened.
After 6 laps, Mika tried to overtake me in the first corner. He really tried. He only tried, but he was much too fast. I don't know what he was aiming for or planning for, but for me, he's 2 times world championship in Formula 1, and to miss the braking point like he did, it's unbelievable late. And for me, it was, not racing style. I don't know what was going on in his mind there. So at the end I have to give up because a stone damaged my radiator on the front. I lost water, and I had to retire with too high engine temperature.
Well, he looks calm there, but in the pits he was absolutely furious, as you can see. As we go back on board with Bruno Spengler. And Timo Scheider there going off. Damage to the rear of the car. And I presume that was the result of a collision. And Scheider stuck in the gravel. Let's see what happened. Well, the 2 black cars getting together. It's Lauda who had a collision with Scheider, and yet again an Audi comes off worst against the Mercedes-Benz.
Well, it was a tough race for me today, but the first quarter of the race, the first half of the race went quite well for me. We've been on a positive way to finish in the 2nd position, and afterwards I had some fights and overtakings later on with Matthias Lauda, and he was crashing into me twice from the left side into my car, and the second time my front left tire went away, and then I ended up in the gravel. So from my point of view, it was just really, really hard and over the limit, let's say.
11 laps to go. Jamie Green in the lead from La Rosa. Here's the battle for 3rd place. Bruno Spengler trying to get past Mike Rockenfeller. And Spengler coming from a long way back. But Rocky manages to hold on. No, he doesn't now. Spengler goes down the inside and collides with the Audi. Rockenfeller has to cut across the grass. Well, a lot of Audis and Mercedes-Benz coming into contact in this race. I can't remember seeing so much incident in a DTM race, and usually it seems to be the Audis that come off worse. But Jamie Green is still in the lead. Rockenfeller drops to 4th place. Let's see that incident again. Well, Spengler being at the very least boisterous there, and Rockenfeller doing the only thing he could do.
He was fighting for position, but when I overtook him, I was already nearly past him, and he just drove into my car quite hardly. There was a big mark on my car, but luckily my car was not broken and was still handling very good. So that was a bit hard from himself, but anyway, he was fighting for his podium, so I can understand.
So let's see it again from a different angle. Well, to me, Spengler had enough room to avoid Rockenfeller.
I tried, to push as hard as I could and, to overtake Paul Di Resta because it was a fight for the podium. And Bruno was coming closer to me, and then he was next to me after the hairpin. I think on the acceleration I made a little mistake, and then he pushed me off the track, and I was in the gravel or on the grass, and then I lost a lot of time and also the position.
Problems here for Marcus Winkelhock, coming into the pits, jiggling the car around to show there's something wrong with it. Martin Tomczyk and Matthias Ekstrom both in the pits there, both still pretty unhappy. But here is the leader of the race with the green mirrors. It's Jamie Green from Leicester, and the Briton has quite a considerable lead. And there seems to be various discussions going on amongst the Audi management. Not sure exactly what's happening here. But Green it is who is now pulling away from his fellow Briton, Paul Di Resta, who's had such a sensational first season. There, the Audi goes into the pits. That's Alexandra Primat. Didn't seem to be anything wrong with that car. Green continuing to put the fast laps down. Would so much like to win his first DTM race. De Resta in second place, then it's Spengler, Rockenfeller in fourth, then it's Le Primat, Margaritis and Tom Christensen, who's had not the happiest of races, down in 8th place. We've seen a lot of retirements, and not quite sure why Primat came into the pits. Mercedes-Benz out in front though, the reigning DTM champions. There is Paul de Resta from Scotland, and look at this, all the Audis are coming in. Sensation here in Barcelona. This is a team management call, and the drivers applauding the decision. They feel that they have been got at, quite literally, by Mercedes-Benz. There's Lucas Lure, and well, I don't think there's going to be any Audis left in this race. Well, absolutely unprecedented in the DTM, and that shows the strength of the feeling of that man there on the right, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, and he has instructed all his drivers to retire from this race because of the tactics, as he sees it, of Mercedes-Benz. Well, we don't like to see this sort of thing happen in motor racing. We knew that the feelings were running so strong at Audi. They thought that they had been taken out right from the early incident, and the spectators there obviously bemused, but they will realise what has been happening. So it's Green still in the lead, and this will of course take away a little bit from what looks like his first victory. Second, de Resta, and of course the positions will change in a moment as it reflects retirement of all the Audis. Well, we don't like to see this thing happening. Of course, we've got two major manufacturers going for what is a very important title, and usually Dr. Ulrich is a very calm man and takes a pragmatic view of the incidents on the racetrack, but he certainly has not done that today. And by instructing all the Audi drivers to retire, he has taken a major decision, and he is heading now, I think, to explain it to his rival and opposite number at Mercedes-Benz as the garage door comes down. And Norbert Haug, well, the suggestion is, of course, that he instructed his drivers to take out the Audi rivals. Now, if that is the case, certainly the FIA should get involved with this. And when we think about the fines for spying, if this is the case and their fans don't like it, they are whistling at Dr. Ulrich. And just look at the set of his jaw. Extremely experienced team manager, has been the architect of all Audi's success. And now the front two Mercedes of the two Britons running together. But there is no way that de Resta will challenge Jamie Green. Team orders will see to that, even if he could. But another great drive from de Resta, and that, of course, really will not be in the headlines. It will be all about the Audi withdrawal for this race. Spengler continuing on his way for some valuable points, of course. Well, what an extraordinary turn of events here at Barcelona, and I can't recall anything similar. Here is Dr. Ulrich, and he's shouting at Norbert Haug. Haug turns round to listen what he has to say. Jürgen Pippig there, the PR boss of Audi. And now they're having a slightly more reasoned conversation. And I'm sure Haug is saying, no, it was just a number of incidents, certainly not my instructions. We'll see what they say after the race. But this is all taking away from what has been an outstanding drive by Jamie Green. And Green now heading off on his last lap. Just one more lap of this Barcelona track between Jamie Green and the checkered flag. The 25-year-old in his third season has looked as if he could be a winner on a number of occasions in the past, particularly at Brands Hatch last year, but he never quite did it. But this is going to be his day, but a day of controversy and collision here at Barcelona, and a day that the DTM will remember for a very long time. But Green could have won this race without all the goings-on we've seen over the last 50 laps or so. And there, Dr. Ulrich presumably on the phone to Audi board members to describe what's happening. And remember, the DTM is huge on television inside Germany. But Green, the last few corners now, as he heads towards a prized victory along and around that right-hander. He pulls it into the side and takes the checkered flag, and Jamie Green wins his first DTM race. But a race which is going to be more about Audi's decision to withdraw than it is about the Mercedes 1, 2, 3 we see now. Spengler comes home in second place despite that pit stop. And Paul di Resta coming through, and Haug also on his phone, probably explaining to his bosses exactly what happened. And still the telephone conversations continue. Margaritis Paffett and Lauda across the line, but we can hear now from the man who finished in third place.
I'm not really sure what went on. It was a bit up and down. Certainly the first stint I was not quick enough. Then we made a quick 2 pit stops. The car was a lot better. I seemed to drive a bit, and there were some Audis about. But then they said they were doing some more pit stops, so I wasn't really sure. But I need to analyse what was going on. But I'm happy to be third. Certainly we showed we were strong in the race, so we will take it.
Jamie Green and the victor from Bruno Spengler and Paul di Resta. And we can hear now from the French-Canadian about his second spot.
Today I'm quite happy of the race. Second place, I'm really happy. 8 points, now I'm 2 points behind the leader of the championship. So I'm really gonna push Hockenheim, and what is good is we're gonna have a good finish at Hockenheim, 3 drivers for the championship. So this is very good, and I'm very happy because the team did a great job. My car was great the whole weekend. My mechanics worked so hard. So I'm really happy, really. On the rain, on the dry, the car was great, and we have the result we deserve because we worked so hard, and this was not always very easy for us, for the whole team and for myself, and I think we get the points that we deserve.
And let's hear now from the man who won, who was all a bit confused.
For me, it just felt like a normal race. I just did my normal things. It felt a bit quiet out the front, but I don't know what happened, so.
Nevertheless, he is spraying the champagne. Jamie Green wins it, all Mercedes 1, 2, 3. But let's hear now why Dr. Ulrich pulled out his cars.
We came here to Barcelona hoping for a great race, a great and fair race for the championship. In the first third of the race, the 2 guys that have been contenders for the championship from our team have been pushed from the racetrack in a way that I don't think that should be done. It's not our style. And during the race, some other activities that, from my point of view, are not the way Audi wants the race happened. And then I had to take the decision to take my cars out of the race.
Well, that's not my understanding, and I do not have the understanding. I do not want to criticize the colleagues, obviously, but I cannot understand this action. I mean, it just happened when we were 1 through 3. I don't know whether this is coincidence. No idea. But for me, it was unnecessary. Point 1. Mika was very optimistic in his maneuver, but I have to stress that he was much faster. And if you are in the lead and you are much faster and you are attacked, then you probably need to open the door dramatically. I do not criticize Martin Tomczyk. Mika was too optimistic, but you are in danger of being overtaken if a car behind you is much faster. And we were much faster. I think our quickest guy today, Bruno, was 6-7 tenths on a very short circuit faster.
There are the championship team standings, but let's hear now from Alexandra Margaritas. Good result for him.
If you see the complete race, we were always in 5th position. After we become the drive-through, what was, yes, you can discuss about that. I was too fast under yellow with new tires. Also 7 other cars get the punishment. But in the end, I was also in the points in 7th place, and to gain the 3 places as a gift, yes, as a racing driver, you take the places, you take the points, but it's a little bit strange. Yes.
Thanks for watching DTM in Barcelona. I hope you enjoyed it, and we see us in Hockenheim.
Well, he certainly didn't enjoy it. Let's just look at some of the highlights now. Here was the start with Martin Tomczyk getting off the line very quickly indeed, and Hakkinen slotting into 2nd place. Spins at the rear. There's La Rosa, who would play a big part in the race later on going round. More spins this time. The Le Mans champion Tom Christiansen revolving. Christian Abt running off the road into the gravel. But all in all, it was a big conflict between Audi and Mercedes-Benz. I'm Andrew Marriott. See you next time.